Welcome to Verse by Verse, episode 30, the wedding at Cana, Jesus' first miracle. Let's set the scene. Jesus has just turned 30 and left his quiet life in Nazareth behind. For 6 months, he's been out in the wilderness near where John the Baptist has been ministering. Jesus will soon gather his first 6 followers. There's Peter and Andrew, 2 brothers, James and John, another set of brothers, and their friends Philip and Nathanael. While Jesus was away beginning his public ministry, a young couple in the town of Cana had decided to get married. Mary, Jesus' mother, had been asked to coordinate their special day, both an honor and a responsibility in their close-knit community of the small towns. Cana and Nazareth are less than 4 miles apart. Nazareth and Cana were like sister cities. Everyone knew everyone. And when Jesus unexpectedly returned home with his 6 new friends, just before the wedding, the situation became complicated. How could the couple not invite the son of the woman organizing their wedding, especially when that son had recently become Nazareth's most talked about citizen? What happened at his baptism did not remain a secret. The invitation was extended to all 7 men at the last minute. The disciples were invited on account of Jesus. This was both gracious and problematic. The couple was of modest means, planning a beautiful but carefully budgeted celebration. 7 unexpected guests would strain their resources, and sure enough, partway through the festivities, disaster struck. The wine ran out. In our culture, running out of refreshments at a party might be embarrassing. You can always make a quick dash to the store. In first century Jewish culture, it was devastating. Wine represented celebration itself. The joy, the abundance, the community coming together to honor the new marriage. To run out of wine wasn't just poor planning. It would mark this couple for life as the pair who couldn't even afford proper celebration on their wedding day. Mary approached her son with gentle urgency. They have no wine. The unspoken part, you and your friends might have had something to do with this. Mary wasn't looking for a miracle, but what was she expecting? You never know with my son. Jesus' response might sound harsh. Woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come. But this wasn't dismissive. It was an Aramaic idiom, a fixed formula. Jesus was telling his mother that what was happening transcended the immediate circumstances. This wasn't simply about wedding logistics or embarrassment. Something much deeper was at work. The hour Jesus referenced was still 3 years away, the hour of his crucifixion, when his true identity would be fully revealed. This miracle at Cana was going to be pointing toward that ultimate moment, offering a glimpse of the transformation that was at the heart of his mission. Mary, trusting completely in her son, turned to the servants with simple instructions. Whatever he tells you to do, do it. It might be something strange or unexpected, but do it anyway. Jewish custom required guests to wash before entering a celebration. 6 large stone jars sat near the entrance, each holding 20 to 30 gallons of water. By this point in the wedding, they were filled with the dirty water from washing feet, hands, and faces. Certainly not something anyone would want to drink from. Jesus gave what seemed like strange instructions. Empty out the dirty water, refill the jars with fresh water, then draw some out and take it to the master of ceremonies. Imagine being those servants. The situation was already embarrassing enough. Now they were being asked to serve water from washing basins to the head of the celebration. What if there was a speck of sand or dirt in the drink? This would no longer simply be embarrassing. But they listened to the voice of Jesus. When the head waiter tasted what they brought him, his eyes widened in amazement. This wasn't just wine. This was the finest wine he'd ever tasted, and wine tasting is something he does all the time. He called the bridegroom over. Most people serve the good wine first, then bring out the cheaper stuff when everyone's had plenty to drink, but you've saved the very best for last. The guy getting married has no idea what the waiter is talking about, but he'll take the compliment. Jesus had created over 150 gallons of the finest wine anyone had ever tasted. What began as potential humiliation became the most generous wedding gift in Cana's history. The couple would be remembered not for running out of wine, but for somehow providing an abundance that surpassed everyone's wildest expectations. Every guest could drink to their heart's content and even take home as much as they liked. Our gift to you. The miracle was about more than salvaging a wedding reception. Those 6 stone jars, one for each of the 6 disciples, represents Christology. Vessels once filled with the dirt and grime of daily life, symbolic of sin and impurity, had been emptied and filled with something that brought pure joy and celebration. This is the gospel story in miniature, where we expect to find the unwanted residue of our failures and shortcomings. Jesus brings transformation. The crushing of grapes that creates wine points toward Jesus' own crushing on the cross, the source of our ultimate celebration and joy, and our access to the heavenly banquet. John's gospel calls this the beginning of his signs. It wasn't just a nice gesture to help out at a wedding. It was the first glimpse of Jesus' glory, the same glory that would be fully revealed on Good Friday. And it happened in the outskirts of Galilee, not Jerusalem. The cross takes place on the outskirts of the city's center. All of God's great actions do. Every miracle Jesus performed, every word he spoke, every action he took pointed toward that central moment when apparent defeat would become ultimate victory, when crushing would become the source of the world's greatest celebration. And the same is true in our lives. What's the greatest thing or the worst thing that's ever occurred in your life? Being crucified with Jesus, left on the outside, looking in on the beautiful people of the world. At a simple wedding in Cana, in the transformation of water into wine, Jesus offered the world a taste of the abundant life he came to bring, not just fixing our immediate problems, but transforming the very vessels of our lives into sources of overflowing joy. Take and drink. Your life is already filled with the blood of Christ. In Jesus' name.